Welcome to Everyman's Arsenal, a podcast where we talk to your favorite influencers, business owners, or just interesting folks. And today, man, we got an interesting one because we have someone that fits into all three of those categories. So let's roll this intro and then introduce him. All right, Rebel.
Hey, what's going on?
It's good to have you here.
Thank you. For everyone listening, this is actually the third podcast we've recorded. And Jason has been nice enough because I keep going on completely unhinged rants that have nothing to do with the question that he's asking me. And then I wind up in a 45-minute deep rant about nothing. So I've been trying to narrow it down each time to get answer a question that he asks. Because he's like, so, why is the sky? Why do you think it's blue? And then it's ending with me talking about stegosauruses versus velociraptors. So I really appreciate it. So thank you for introducing me. You called me an influencer, a businessman, and an interesting person, which those are three words I would not use to describe me.
But absolutely, I would.
Yeah, but anyways, yes, I was going to say a funny joke about that. Not really a joke, but I'm Rebel SMG. I am the owner of Rebels Raiders. Also, if you guys see on social media, that would be Rebels Raiders Gear, the Rebels Raiders account, and Rebels Raiders Gear on Facebook, and Rebel-Raiders on YouTube as well.
Yeah, and I know
Rebel-Raiders the website.
You were talking about how you owned Kanai Pro Gear on Facebook, and I think you just rebranded that, right?
Yes. So I built, just so a quick story for anyone who doesn't know, I was the main guy at Kanai Pro Gear. The best way I can describe it is Kanai Pro Gear was Paramount and I was Tom Cruise, right? Okay. So that's the easiest way to say it, right? That's kind of the way to say it is Paramount's the studio. They own Mission Impossible, but in reality, who is Mission Impossible? It's Tom Cruise.
Yeah, it's right? Tom Cruise.
And I'm not shy enough to say that when it came to the Kanai Pro Gear, because I did all the customer service, all the marketing, towards the middle and the half and the end, I did the bulk of the product design as well. So my fingerprints were all over Kanai. I built the Facebook page. I built the Instagram account. I did build the YouTube, but I didn't really do a lot on YouTube, right? I should have done more. That's one of my biggest regrets, but. I built everything, really everything, right?
Yeah.
As far as the customer facing goes, on the back end, I did not design the original pack designs. I didn't do those, and I didn't handle any of the money or anything of the sort. But literally, I was, like I said, I was employee one of the entire thing, and I said, did all of it. So
and I've been a fan. I mean, I got my Kanai wallet.
Yeah,
I got
the Mercury wallet. Yep.
I got a Kanai backpack. I forgot what model this is, but it's the one that doesn't look all tactical.
That is the Urban Legion.
Yeah, Urban Legion. And then I have the Legion with all the Molly on it is actually sitting on my bed right now. It just came in today.
I was the principal designer, not in the Legion, but the 2.0. I was the designer behind That's the one I did. So the one that's had the most amount of input on, and I fixed a lot of the original Legion 1 issues.
Okay. Yeah, so I've been a fan. I mean, we did a review on the Vicarian plate carrier, and
that's all my design.
I really loved it. It sat number one of our I'd called it a low visibility plate carrier, something that you could kind of upgrade it if you wanted to, but you can wear it underneath a jacket if you wanted to. It wasn't really a load bearing plate carrier,
right?
And it was number one or number two in our rankings, and then it got to a point when Kanai kind of went away. That was one of the things I said, I feel bad recommending this because no one could buy it anymore.
And that will change. So, yes, I could go into that one too. But yes, the Vicarian plate carrier, I was the principal designer on it. Now, unlike most in this industry, I will take some credit, but not all, right? At the end of the day, the Vicarian is 3 plate carriers kind of mixed together. The base is a Ferro Concept Slickster with a little bit of Cry JPC and a little bit of AC1 thrown in.
Okay.
A little bit. I would say mostly Slickster and JPC. The one I got, I was trying to think about the AC1 I got, I think not the patches. What did I get? The sizing, not sizing. What did I get? I think it was the cummerbund from the AC1. I think.
Yeah, it's very similar to the AC1
Yeah, because the
cummerbund.
AC one came out a little bit after it. I think I couldn't remember the timeline of that, but there
Well,
was a little bit of AC. Not a lot. There really wasn't a
yeah.
lot, but there was a
Well,
little bit of AC1 DNA in there. A very
they
very
had,
tiny amount.
I mean, their AC1 when they first came out was sitting right about $200. I think they brought the price down, but that was one
Yeah,
of
I
the
have
things
a
I
whole
loved about the
spiel on
Vicarian.
that.
It was like, I forgot what the price was, like
Buck 50.
150 or something like
Yeah,
that.
with
And you
everything.
got, yeah, you got a placard, you had inserts for different magazines, you had a dangler, you had your cummerbund, shoulder pads, the whole shebang for
Yep.
$150. Like it couldn't be beat.
And I plan on lowering that by $20. My goal
Yeah,
for
that's
that
awesome.
to re-release is 130 with what you just
Okay.
said. I'm going to change the dangler out to a front pouch because the dangler was cool, but not many people I don't think people used it a lot. But
Mhm.
yeah, my goal is the Vicarian moving forward to get exactly what everybody remembers, more colors this time, and updated cummerbund with retention tabs, slightly different sizing, and to get that down to a buck 30. That's my goal. I think if I'm
So,
still at a buck 50, it's fine, but
yeah, I think
my
people are
goal is
gonna
a buck
buy it.
30. Yeah.
So now you talked about your background with Kanai, but
Mhm.
where did Rebels Raiders come from? When did that Instagram account start, and kind of the thought process behind Rebels Raiders?
Yeah. So I was at Kanai, and then I didn't know it was ending. I should have known that. I got a little blindsided by it. Um, the boss told me that I should leave the company. That should have been enough, idea to know that. He was like, "You should look at other places, man." He's like, "You're so smart. You could do whatever you want. You should try something else." He goes, "You've outreached your limit here at Kanai." And when he said that, I should have taken that as I think this might be ending. But I was like, no, and then again, well, it's a little bit weird because it went back and forth. Sorry, I'm babbling. Anyways, um, Rebels Raiders started when I found out Kanai was closing. I was pretty much heartbroken that was going to happen. So Rebel had always been the mascot, as anyone who follows me knows. It's for Rebel has been the mascot. We can just go into that, but that was it. And then I just said Rebels Raiders, Rebels what? Rebels R2 Tactical, R2 Rebels Raiders, Rebels Raiders, and that was it. And then I did the Rebels Raiders Instagram account, and then I just sold T-shirts and made memes off that. And on that account, I did on the original Kanai Pro Gear account on Instagram, I did mention it a few times. So it got me like 10,000 followers. So it did help. I had some Kanai carryover. But then
Yeah,
I made a series of viral cryptid memes on the Rebels Raiders account that pretty much shot that account to the same popularity, if not more so, than the Kanai Pro Gear account.
yeah.
So I had
Well,
already built like another one by myself, just with one Instagram account. Yeah, it was pretty
and
weird.
that's where I get the during the intro I said influencer. You have almost 43,000 followers over there.
Yes.
Um, so I would count that as an influencer.
Well, even more is and I explained earlier. So people who are watching this is the Kanai Pro Gear Facebook and the Kanai Pro Gear Instagram were both built by me, 100%. That no one else. It was just me monitoring that. It was on my phone, and I was the one who did every single post on there. And then when I bought the assets from my former employer from Kanai, I literally bought everything but the name, including the laptop I'm talking on. I got when the company closed. Even this office chair, you guys can hear it creaking. This is the Kanai office chair. This is the chair I sat in. I literally took this home with me, right? And even behind me, you don't see it, but behind me, what I'm tapping on is the actual warehouse computer, right?
Well,
That
cool.
I just got because the company closed. Okay, you can take it. We sold everything else out. So I have all of it. So I actually purchased the Kanai Pro Gear Facebook and Instagram. I did. I purchased
Okay.
it fully. I'm sure someone said you probably could have just taken it. I probably could have, but I never would feel right about doing something like that. So
Sure.
I purchased it. I gave him money for it. So now that I own it, I actually yesterday the Facebook I never even touched really. I just did some DMs on there, but I rebranded both those into the Rebels Raiders stuff. So now that's all Rebels Raiders ecosystem. So yeah, I'm looking at close to 100K between the two on Instagram and about 40K, I think, on Facebook
That's
across
awesome,
the
man.
board. Yeah, it's really cool. When you said influencer, the thing is, if you look on my Shopify account, because that's what everyone uses to do stores, right? I mean, why wouldn't
Hmm.
you? It said, I have my amount of money, which is pretty good. It's in the six figures about how much money I've made. And the next one it shows is it says, traffic, and it said Instagram, and it was like 90%. And I showed my
Well,
dad, I was like, hey, I'm an Instagram influencer. Like that was weird for me to say that, right? Like it was odd. It's odd
Yeah.
for me, someone like me, right? By the way, I know my face is covered. I'm a solid 7 out of 10. Okay, solid 7 across the board. And I go, I'm not a guy to be on Instagram. Like, I'm not hot. I'm not going on Instagram, taking off my shirt and running around talking about protein powder. And I'm not some hottie walking around in jean shorts, selling crop tops. So I was like, yeah, it is weird and again, here's an even funnier part. I want to say a little bit. I don't have any personal social media. Kind of a cop out because since I do it for business, it kind of counts,
Yeah.
right? It's kind of like saying I don't do drugs. I just do cocaine with my friends. It's like, well, wait a minute, what? But it's like like a drug dealer going, I don't do drugs. I only do lines with my clients. It's like, well, I mean that counts, right?
Yeah.
So it is kind of a cop out that I use social media professionally, but I do not have any. The only personal account that I have is the Facebook Rebel Goat account, which I don't. I literally have 0 posts on it because I have to have one for Facebook because
Yeah.
you have to have a profile to do everything. So that's the closest one I have to a personal account. Even the Rebels Raiders SMG account, which is at Rebels Raiders, but Rebels Raiders SMG, that's my account, but that's still like a branded character
Yeah.
account, right? Of
Yep.
memes and stuff that furthers the brand. And I haven't had a personal social media since high school. Like even in high school, I was in, 08, 2004, 2008 when I was in high school. So when Facebook was coming out, I didn't have a Facebook. I've always been like anti-social media, like the anti-social
Yeah.
media guy. And out of all my friends, I think I'm the only one who makes a living on it, which is hilarious to me. I don't know how else to explain that. It's weird, isn't it?
Well, I think it's just kind of how the cards played out too, and you being able to capitalize on that is, I don't know. I think it's a cool story.
I do. It's a story that doesn't make sense to me, right? If I were to describe myself, if I wrote it all out, and I say this with like 100% sincerity, I think it's fake personally.
Yeah.
Like it's like totally bullshit, right? Like if you were to write everything out that it is, a lot of it, which makes it more hilarious in my opinion. A lot of it just doesn't like add up, and it is funny, but yeah, it is weird. It is weird to look at it and go, yeah, I've made more money than my entire life, right? Well, that's not true, not combined. I'm
Yeah.
not there yet, but I've made more money in a short amount of time off Instagram. Like,
Right.
yeah, Instagram.
Ninety
Yeah,
percent of it.
you're an Instagram influencer. It's like, all
That's
right,
it.
odd, odd to say that out loud, right? Like you just said, oh, influencer, businessman, interesting guy. I'm like, huh. Interesting. Those are
And
3 very interesting, I guess, adjectives in that case. Would that be adjectives, right? That'd be, I don't know. But the answer is, those are interesting words to use to describe it.
yeah. So I guess working a little bit backwards. So Rebels Raiders,
Uh-huh.
you talked about Rebel. So I know the story because I've talked to you. This is our
Yeah,
third
like
time doing
this
this,
the
but
third time.
for the people that are listening, who's Rebel and kind of where did the Rebel that idea of Rebels Raiders come from?
Absolutely. So the very good story, because I know as I'm trying to make it a little more fresh, a little more entertaining. My mother actually bought home 4 goats at 2017, 2017. I didn't care. My mom always wanted goats. She brought them home. She was like, she's always wanted goats, so she got 4 pet goats. And I'm like, I don't. Okay, they're goats. Why want farm animals for? Right.
Yeah.
And I'm an animal guy, but goats were never anything besides cute little animals. They're cute. Okay, great. They're little farms. They're funny. And then we started hanging out with them. I mean, they're freaking hilarious, right? Truly ungovernable animals, like truly ungovernable, right? And they'll knock everything over when they're little babies. They just hump everything. If they're the boys, they hump everything. They headbutt each other. They jump. They'll knock each other off walls and they'll jump around if they do. We've all seen the Instagram videos. So there was 4 goats: Rebel, Gizmo, Gracie, and Prince. Unfortunately, Gracie and Prince passed away. That's kind of the way it is with goats. Unfortunately, when the young ones do just catch them and they just die. Pretty sad. But Gizmo and Rebel got to age to be big fat goats. And then one day, I'm always screwing with them. I think it even happened in 2020 during the lockdown. You think it'd be longer, maybe a little bit beforehand, but I took that iconic photo of Rebel wearing a chamois and a backpack.
Oh yeah.
And then I've used that ever since. That's it. Like it was just one kind of iconic photo. And then Rebel became the mascot because it got a lot of likes, it got a lot of attention, like everything, right? People do
Yeah.
what like it could have been Gizmo, it could have been a squirrel, there wasn't really anything other than the fact that it was a funny photo that got a lot of likes, a lot of attention, and then I just rolled with it, right? This right here, goat, people ask what it means. It literally means goat. People will then go, what about these letters? One day I was holding down my keyboard and then this came up.
Okay.
Like, I wish it's kind of like Anakin Skywalker in Revenge of the Sith. It's like, where did Darth Vader come from? It's like, well, he kind of just made it up on the spot, right? It's like, and you'll be called Darth Vader. It's like, oh, I thought he was named after some Sith Lord or something. It's like, no, they just thought of
Pulled
it.
it out of a hat. Well,
Right.
it makes
Just,
me think of I was showing my little kids Bob Ross, introducing them to Bob Ross, and his
okay.
saying, he'd always say like happy little, like there's no mistakes, you just have happy little accidents.
Uh-huh.
And
Yeah, like,
it just
good.
grows from there.
Yeah, it is like it just the thing is that's kind of the point of social media in a way, or modern media, right? Is if you put something out there and then for whatever reason the algorithm just decides, hey, this is it, or people just decide this is it, you just roll with it. And that's
Yeah.
the joke about today. Like, I saw Navi Boomhandle on Twitter. He made a joke about like people who got the Springfield Armory Helion made that rifle their entire personality. Now, I don't know what that means. Like, who the hell do you make a rifle your personality? Like, you walk around like I'm a bullpup. I don't know what that means, right? But he was like, oh yeah, they're all over the place. And I'm like, it might just be how the internet works, right? Because if I'll make it entertaining. One of the things that, like, I think about a lot is like the Joe Rogan guest, right? Like, oh,
Right.
you're just some professor who got beat up at a no-name college, and now I have to listen to you talk about like biology, even though like you're a professor of like astrology or something, right? Point is that social media, when you have like a hook and you roll and it runs, you just roll with it, and that just becomes who you are.
Mm.
Here's a good one. Here's a good gun tube one. Very interesting one. Brandon Herrera, right?
Yeah.
No one, everyone remembers Brandon Herrera now, and what Brandon Herrera now is the funny go like meme guy, right? He's
Yeah.
like a
The AK
meme,
guy.
the AK, right? He's like a meme guy. He's like, okay, he does meme reviews. He does all the funny out there, like kind of like fun shit, right? If you watch Brandon Herrera in the very beginning, he was extremely technical and about like AK building.
Oh, okay.
And even if you watch his first meme review video, he was like, hey guys, this is going to be different. I don't know if this is going to work. I'm going to do a meme review. He's kind of like, I don't know,
Yeah.
man. This is not my style. Right. And I'm watching it going, holy shit. Because
Yeah.
Brandon
Apparently it is.
Herrera started off as like a really nerdy, like down in the dips, like down in the deep, detailed AK building thing. And then we did a meme review. It's like, oh, this got 400,000 views. And he's like, okay, well, how would I do another, how would I blow up milk jugs? And then,
Yeah.
you grow, then you just follow what gets you the engagement. And there you go. Now, I
Yeah.
like goats. Now, I know you're like, okay, this is what I talk about. This is why we have like the 3 podcasts, because that actually, even though that rant answered the question, guys, imagine me doing that with literally every topic for 40 minutes straight about nothing. That's why this is the 3rd podcast. But back to the goat part. Rebel that's it. He's a pet goat. People liked it. I ran with it. And then I actually think on the deeper end of it, to be serious, there is something about goats that you have to follow. And the answer is become ungovernable, honestly, right? Just rip the doors off shit, poop where you want, pee where you no, don't do that. But my point is, I don't know. Goats don't like there's something about them. I sound dumb saying that.
Well,
But
they
there's
just
something
don't.
about goats. They don't
Seems like
care.
they just don't care. I mean, some of the videos that come to mind. There's a video I don't know, some foreign country where a goat is just like terrorizing this. Someone's filming it, and there's just a goat that's like keeps ramming people, knocking them over. Like people
Yeah.
are scared, climbing in the trees to try to get away from this goat, and this goat is just it's a giant like fu
Menace.
attitude.
Yeah. They're like menaces. They don't care. I have to learn to do that. Again, we're on the 3rd podcast because some things I probably care a little bit too much about. And I go, I'm not, that's a little bit, that's a little bit too, I don't want to go into that for the audience.
Okay.
No, what I'm saying is like, I have to pick up on like, it's like, that's why I send to go. Like, I want to get to that. I want to get to Gizmo, where
Yeah.
Gizmo just looks at me and then we'll just rip a door off his shut and drop it, and then he'll start pooping. Like, I want to get to that level where I just don't care, right? You're just a rabid animal. You just don't care at all, right? There's a lot of people who say they don't care. It's performative, right? Like, it's performative. Here, I'll say a controversial opinion. Here, I'll do it. This one's fun, and we'll keep this edit. I see that a lot about like Lucas, right? He'll do that. He'll go, I'm not here to make everyone happy. Then he'll go say an opinion that's well within the Second Amendment community's like opinion, right? Like if
Sure.
I came out and I was like, this is not going to be popular, guys. This is not going to be popular. But let me just say this right now. Let me just say this to everyone. I think guns should be less regulated, right? Like,
Yeah.
who,
It's like a
what?
confirmation bias almost. Like
Right.
you're
But what
talking
you're
to people that
saying
are
is,
going to agree with you.
yeah, exactly. And you're saying that in the community. Now, what you're saying is somebody else may disagree with that, right?
Sure.
Someone else may disagree with that statement, right? But you're framing it as if the people you're talking to is them. And it's like, this is a
Mm.
tactical industry. Everyone says that. Like, you're
Yeah.
not saying anything remotely controversial, like at all, right? You want to know how because I agree with that opinion. So, of course.
Yeah.
And I look around and go, yeah, so is everybody else. But you're framing it as if you're saying, like, you're saying this at Berkeley. And you're like, you're not.
Right.
You're not. You're saying this on your own
In
YouTube
Tennessee.
channel. Yeah,
Right.
you're saying this on Tennessee, your own YouTube channel, right? I'm like, that's not controversial. But my point behind that is the people who yell they don't care usually are the ones who do, right? Because if they didn't care, you would know. Like, for example, you want to know who truly doesn't care? The guy who runs, who's that one guy? I'm like, man, I can't go near that. The guy who runs Hoplite Armor.
Oh yeah.
That's a guy who does not care, right?
Yeah.
Who really, I mean, he really goes for it, right? Like you can really tell he's like, oh, I'll say whatever I want to say whenever I want to say it at any point in
Yeah.
time, right?
Well,
Um,
I see a little bit of that too. I mean, I think it's entertaining, but there was a Instagram reel or something that you put out. It was a tweet from Star Wars. They said there's 20,000 or excuse me, 20
oh, there's
million
20 million, yeah,
sentient races in the galaxy, and then it was like,
yeah,
what, I don't even know
Guilliman
what that
and
cartoon is from, but it was like me and the Goat Gang going to,
Yeah. Well, and again, that's Star Wars. Okay, this is going to get deep into it, but I'll mention one deep one for the entertainment part, and I'll get back to the business part.
okay, all
Interestingly
right,
enough, when I mention business on Twitter, people like it. I sometimes I find that kind of boring because there's a lot of idiots on Twitter who are like, "Just start an LLC. You can be a CEO too." I'm like, that's not true. But like a Star Wars, that's a very good one, right? About social media is we know what happened, right? With that. Now, the joke behind that is, yeah, it was for everyone not knowing, I'm a big 40K fan. Actually, the guy on Instagram, Big Wit, got me super into it because I was posting 40K memes and they're getting attention. I said, well, people like 40K. Then I got into 40K because why wouldn't you get into 40K? I even have some figurines someone painted for me back there. But yeah, the post I made was Star Wars made a tweet saying there's 20 million, sentient beings in the galaxy. Don't choose to be a racist. Now I'll get into why they tweeted that. But then I tweeted there's that famous photo from the Treasure Island of Dr. Lively doing his big chess walk,
oh,
right?
that's who that was. Okay,
Yeah, but someone redid it with Belarus Call,
yeah,
Robu Guilliman, and actually Yavari is in the thing, but I cropped it just to be Belarus Call and Guilliman. And I have him doing his big chess walk of the Primarch of the Ultramarines walking down. It says, me and the Goat Gang searching for their 19,999,999, 999 alien species. We're going to kill them. Right, because that's Warhammer. Warhammer is like just be racist as hell. Well, xenophobic in the highest sense, right? Kill
right,
all the aliens. But again, that's what I mean. Well, I won't get into why. We all know why Star Wars tweeted that, right? We all know what they're
yeah,
doing. Everyone knows what they're doing.
yeah,
The same reason why that most recent idiot on Twitter like posts out a photo of admin results like with a FAL and said white
oh yeah,
supremacy on full display. It's like what? It's
yeah,
really just a photo of admin results with an FAL. But we all know what they're doing, right? They're doing that for attention. You throw out opposition bait to get opposition to come at you, and it works because then
yeah,
I'll call you stupid. We'll talk about it on a podcast, and then right, people do it on purpose.
yeah.
People will do it on purpose. We do it in our own industry on purpose. We say stuff we put out oppositional bait to do that. But
Sure.
anyways, in reference, yeah, no, but that to me is like you think that one was me like not caring or like
No,
I
no, no.
didn't
I'm just saying. I think some people could view it that way. I just found it entertaining. Like, oh, this is funny. I'm going to laugh at this.
right. And now the cool part is in this tactical industry, right? What I said with that, like that one, that's well within everybody caring,
Yeah.
right? I could like if I was like probably a writer at Disney, I couldn't tweet that out.
Right.
Right. But that tweeting that out, or sorry, posting that on Instagram about Guilliman going, he's going to kill the rest of 19 million alien species. That's well within the realm of like tactical Instagram's accepted what you're going to say. Right.
Right.
So my point behind really all that was people say they don't care. It's like, okay, here's how I know you don't care. Post something that you know will lose you not a little bit of money, but a lot. Go ahead, post it. Then I'll know you don't care. I know
Right.
for a fact you won't care when you're going to post something that you know will lose money, or you know will mean that everyone disagreed with you, and no one's going to do that. No one's going to. I won't do that. No one else will.
Yeah.
Right. And it's all done under the guise. Maybe it might be a little edgy, but it's all done under the guise of, oh, I'm going to maybe push the envelope a little bit, but we all know, like, hey, I'm not going to say what I really want to say, and that's everybody because that'll affect sales.
Right.
I get it.
Yeah, I mean it's very very true. We've talked about here at TLD, we've talked about doing a video where we go into why you don't see so many negative reviews on YouTube,
Mhm.
um, and kind of the process behind that. Like, well, it just doesn't make a lot of sense. Like, why am I gonna spend hours and our videos we spend not only just recording it, but then the editing part, writing the script, getting all the B reels. Like, we spend 20 to 40 hours on a video. Why am I going to spend 40 hours on a video to tell you not to buy something?
Right. And then
Like, if
on
it's
top,
really,
yeah.
really bad, we'll do it, but they're so rare.
And then what happens is, I think, yeah, I could be wrong. Didn't Grand Thumb run into that where if you do it, then people get scared and they just don't send you anything?
Oh, I don't
Is that
know.
is that true?
Maybe.
I don't know because I remember he had said something about, and he was and he was, at least he showed he was, and
Yeah.
I'll take that as, and I don't mean that in a condescending way. I think he was genuine. He had said, like, he gave a bad review to a weapon or something that happened. He says the person who got someone else got fired. Like, he was like, oh
Oh, really?
yeah. Because yes, someone, I think the story
Yeah.
was the person was a marketing person for said company, and they said give it to Grand Thumb to review it. And then when he's like, hey, this weapon kind of sucks. I believe it was some AR 9mm variant, and I think it
Okay.
had a crowning issue that was like sending rounds like just tumbling through the barrel. Like, if I could be wrong on that specific recall,
Sure.
on the recall memory there, but I believe it was something to that effect. And the point is when you do that, you go, well, it's better just not to talk about it. Like, it's better,
Right.
like you just said, like, it's better not to do all the work, but it's better just to be like, yeah, the reason why you only see positive reviews is because the bad ones don't float to the top. Like, they just, you know, they'll just sink.
Well,
And
yeah, and there's a
maybe
way to do
you're
it.
a better
Like,
YouTuber
we
than I am.
do most of our reviews, we'll do a pros and cons at the end. These
Uh-huh.
are the things we like, these are the things we didn't like. And what we found are there's some companies, and I think this goes back to a comment you made earlier about, I forgot who it was, but how people I forgot how you worded it, but like they attach themselves to their
And make it
bullpup,
their
or the bullpup
personality.
is their personality. And I think we see that in gear companies as well, that if you were to say a bad thing about a piece of gear, that company, some companies could be like, how dare you say this negative thing? You just don't
Uh-huh.
know what you're talking about. Um, Whereas we like doing business with the companies that say, okay, hey, thanks for the feedback. We'll take that back to the drawing board. Like,
Mhm.
they're not going to get butthurt because we say, well, we don't like that the zippers are all black.
Right.
They're just gonna be like, oh yeah, you know what? Okay, we'll take that to the drawing board. And it's for us, we're okay if they say, hey, look, the reason why we did that is because it saves us cost, or whatever reason, doesn't matter. They don't have to tell us, but if they come back to us and say, hey, we did this because it cuts down costs, and we could shave $5 off the price for everybody. Okay,
Mhm.
like, I'm
I
not a
think
business guy.
also
Thanks, man.
it ties into people's reaction, right? A good one is criticize T-Rex arms and see what happens, right?
Well,
Like,
yeah,
if you
we
do, like, that was a big thing. I don't know how much it is now. I don't know.
yeah,
As I'm again, I'm not really an online person. I'm really not, right? And I made that joke before about my memes that get really spicy. And the answer is, I actually didn't know that they're that spicy. I just thought they were funny, right? Like, I used to do green text memes for ads, and people were like, dude, you did a green text meme. I'm like, yeah, it's funny. It's like, that has a whole different connotation, dude. I'm like, oh, I didn't know that because I'm not an online guy, but I also I don't know. I don't know. I'm not saying I don't know in the sense I'm going. I don't have a retort to what you're saying. It's
yeah.
like, yo, it's just odd to me. Is that the internet? Is that, or only because you're only getting a specific view of it, or I don't know.
Yeah.
It's hard for
Well,
me
you
to
got to
put
think
into
about. I
the
mean,
context.
I don't know. I'm way out ballparking this, but let's just say that there's a billion videos watched every day on YouTube. I
Uh-huh.
don't know if that's extreme or not, but let's just say there's a billion of them. Well, Thin Line Defense, we have, I don't know, 60,000 videos watched a day. It's not that much, but let's just say it was that much.
That's a lot.
Um, okay, well, the people that are watching our videos are usually like people in our circles.
Right.
And so they're going on YouTube, they're searching for a very specific thing. And so you have a tiny, tiny piece of the pie out of all the YouTube videos that are out there. Um, so I do think that we kind of are locked into this confirmation bias in a way on YouTube because we're searching for things that confirm whatever our bias is. For example, if you were to search about dinosaurs, you're going
Mhm.
to get a certain set of search results. But if you were to search dinosaurs aren't real or dinosaurs weren't real, you're going to find a bunch of stuff that tells you that dinosaurs weren't real. It was all fake.
Now, how
And then
much
on the
of that? Now that's that one we can get deeper and get way away from Rebels Raiders as a business, right? But it's more fun that way. We'll do a little bit. I want to go back so people can because people like my business talk for whatever reason. I don't
yeah,
know.
yeah, yeah.
How much that confirmation bias shapes our worldview to the point where maybe we're the ones who are wrong. I
Oh,
don't know.
that's deep. Yeah, I don't know.
Right. Because I don't know, right? Because I always wonder because that therein lies a lot of jealousy that I have for a lot of other people in the industry, right? And I made the joke about it, and I'll let anyone else figure out who can pull this off. But a lot of them can walk outside and go, "The sky is blue," and anyone who says it's purple is an idiot. And that reel will do. Then they'll do really well. And then 2 weeks later, they'll go, "The sky is purple," and anyone who says it's blue is an idiot. And you'll go, "Wait, well, there's a video of you saying the exact opposite." And they go, "No, I don't know what you're talking about." They just go like, shrug emoji, like, "Hey, whatever." They'll have a little catchphrase, and then they go on, and then you go, I go, I wish I had that cult mentality. Like, if you listen to these interviews, or even if you listen to this podcast, like, I can't say yes to myself without saying no 2 seconds later. Being like,
Yeah.
well, hey, maybe the sky is purple because I have introspection and I have the ability to have reflection on what's going on. In order to be successful on social media, especially tactical, you kind of have to be a cult leader. You kind
Yeah.
of have to have zero doubt. You have to walk out and just go 2 + 2 = 7 and then just
I
stare at the camera directly and never have anything else. Be like, yeah. And everyone goes, oh wow, you're so sure of yourself, of course. Even though
yeah.
tomorrow you can go 2 + 2 = 4, and
I
anyone who says
think
it's 7 is stupid. And you're like,
yeah.
wow, wow, but you believe that. You like go with it. I don't
I
know.
think there's two possibilities. It could be that you're just easily manipulated, or it could be that you just don't care. And an example that I have from my own
I'm
life,
definitely number one. I am very
yeah,
easily
I would
manipulated.
say I had this thing in the military where they gave us a sheet of paper, and it was the scenario was you're on the moon, you have a list of all these things, like you rank it of what in the order you think is most needed, right? So oxygen is going to be number one, water number two, what you one through 20 or whatever it was. And then what you do is then you're paired up with a group,
Uh-huh.
and as a group you got to come up with the same number, and you at the end you total everything up. There's a certain point, how far off you were, and the lower your score the better off you did. Well, my individual score was very low, but my group score was really bad. Like we did really bad. I remember the instructor was like, oh, you did really good as by yourself, but you listen to everyone else around you, and what was it that you just didn't care, or were you thinking, did you get talked into believing that something else was real, like, oh yeah, no, oxygen shouldn't be number one, you're right, it should be gasoline or whatever, something
Right.
else. So I've experienced that, and that was something for me, like, I either need to make this choice not to care about it, or I need to be firmer in my own beliefs,
And
or both.
that's one hell of a binary, right?
Yeah,
That's one hell of a
really.
binary that's pushed on human beings to go either get more zealot or don't care.
Yeah.
Like either right? That's one hell of a binary
Yeah.
to tell someone. You go, you have two choices. Kill someone over it or forget about it. It's like, well, there's no middle? No.
No.
No. Why not? Shopify promo
Yeah.
codes. That's the thing, right? Like that's like again, the middle ground disappears, right?
Yeah.
And that's why I try my best. I'm actually a very political guy. I love politics, and as I said before, it's because politics is for losers. So I go, well, I love politics. What does that make me? Right? Because I love thinking. I love talking about everything for 9 hours on end. And I do see a lot of erosion, what you said about the middle. But let's get back into business
Yeah.
because then I'll go
Well,
on and I'll blah, blah, blah,
yeah,
and
I
go off
think
about other
one of
things.
the things that I wanted to touch on, and I apologize
Yeah.
because my question definitely took us down
No, it's
there.
fine. That's
So
perfectly
let's see
fine.
if we get it back. But one of the things that I is very interesting for me to see you as I'm going to say a gear company owner or a gear
Yeah.
designer.
Weird
There's
gear.
some things that you post on Instagram where you are. It seems like you're saying, "Hey, look, get physically fit and just get some good military surplus stuff. You're going to be fine." And
Absolutely.
as a gear designer, I'm like, why would you say that? So can you
Well,
expand on that a little bit?
sure. So what I like to do with that stuff is I'm going to sound dumb describing it. Um, I like to tell everyone that a very good commercial to use. Do you remember Dodgeball with Vince Vaughn and
Yep.
Ben
If you could
Stiller?
dodge a wrench, you could dodge a ball.
Right. Remember the Ben Stiller commercial was you're fat, you're disgusting, you
Yeah.
need to be hot, come to a Gold's Gym, right?
Yeah.
I like
Global.
not Global Gym. I like to be more like Vince Vaughn at the end where he goes, "Hey man, you know what? You're good." I won't go as far as be like you're good the way you are, but if you want to lose a few extra pounds, my entire premise is I'm gonna make good gear that's oriented towards civilians, right? I probably should say citizens, but good gear oriented towards citizens that won't break the bank, right? What I don't want to tell everybody else, which goes into other people in the industry, is that all this other high end kit is required, or you should feel bad that you don't have it. And I want to be realistic, right? And the realistic aspect to that is on the kit level where I go, okay, here's the thing: these conversations are industry driven conversations, right? They're conversations driven to get you to buy more stuff. One that I'm a part of. To say that's why you have 9 hour conversations about hand guards, about what scope versus this, what muzzle brake versus that one. And I
Right.
go, hey, you guys know the world's largest military with a huge budget, a budget that you probably can't even count to. That's not an insult on anyone's intelligence. I'm just literally saying they can't. The budget is so large they can't even keep track of it. They chose the M4, M4A1. You all know what I mean. They chose those specs for a reason. They're good enough for the 95% you're going to run into. I assure you, if the gear was good enough for Marine in Fallujah, it will be good enough for you. Now, as a citizen, you have the ability to utilize the free market to say, well, I want better than good enough. And I go,
Right.
great. That's the stuff that I make. That's the stuff that, Onward Research makes. That's the stuff that Feral Concept will make. That's the stuff that Spirit Us will make. Stuff that you go, well, I want better than good enough. Sometimes that's not always true, right? Sometimes it's just a price tag for the sake of a price tag. But then I go, all right, well, let's just make sure that if you want to have the conversation about kit, you want to have that stuff that's great, have it, have fun, go speak about stuff for 9 hours, knock yourself out. My context, my point is, I say, well, why don't we look at the realm of realistic possibility and train for that, and then knock out the basics, knock out what you know you could use. Right. The one thing I say about the rifle is I go, you have a rifle. We all know what the good is. Look at M4A1, build off that. 16-inch barrel, great. Phosphate treated chrome line, great. Full auto bolt carrier group, good. Is the pistol grip ergodynamic? No, but it's cheap. Does it work? Yes. A2, great. Folding stock, I like the Magpul CTR. Get it. What do you need? I need a way to aim the rifle. I need a way to illuminate the target. I need a way to carry it. Okay, good. You need a red dot. You need a flashlight. You need a sling. Done.
That's it.
Right, there you go. Flashlight, rifle, sling. What about PEC 15? What about it? Get one. You're good, right? You get one, and it's cool. Will you ever use it? Probably not. Maybe not. Maybe. Get it? It's cool, right? On the hierarchy of needs, can you carry your rifle? Yep. I got a Blue Force gear sling with 2 quick detach points. Fantastic. Can you illuminate your target? Yep. I have a Streamlight Pro Tac. I like the Surefire X300. No, I like the Surefire Scout Light. Okay, great. Can you illuminate your target? Great. Is it a good brand? Yeah, it's good. Surefire, Streamlight, they're good. Great. Red dot. Does it work? Yeah. You're right. Cool. Tough. Good. All right. Can you shoot? Great. Can you carry it? Fantastic. There you go. Basic. Very.
Yeah.
Once you meet that, like if I just said right now, let's break it down even a little bit further, right? If I had the power of God and I just said all AR-15s are now M4A1s. That's it.
Yeah.
The only rifle you could ever get is a military issued M4. Does anything change? No. Right?
Nope.
Is anybody dying because they didn't have the Geisley upper? No. Nothing changes. Literally nothing changes. Right? If I told everyone now you have to carry 1903 Springfields, yeah, a lot changes as far as what you can do, right? But if I said right now the only AR you can get when I say M4, I think everyone knows, and I'm not talking about trigger, even if it's semi-automatic, doesn't really matter. The point is M4 is what I just described to you, right? The standard issue M4, 14 and a half inch, 16 inch, even if it's all 14 and a half inch, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. It really doesn't. What about the Birdcade flashlight versus the Surefire War Comp? It doesn't matter at all. We talked about this last time, right?
Well,
Does the Surefire War Comp flatter shooting? Yeah, great. Okay. Is anyone dead because they had an A2 Birdcage as opposed to a Surefire War Comp? No.
yeah.
No one's going to look at
That's
a
a good point.
battle and go, "Oh, you know what made them win? The Surefire War Comp. That's what did
Yeah.
it." That's that. Now, optics, the ability to have more advanced ones. I'm not talking Hollow Sun versus Sig Sauer, right? We're talking the brand new military XM125 optic versus ACOG. Yeah, we're talking a huge difference in technology, right? One's literally tagging a target, giving you his temperature, sending you
Yeah.
TikToks to your helmet, right? Doing whatever the hell that thing does. The other one's a stempeled ACOG, right? Or an ACOG versus iron sights. Now that's much different. You can really make the case there, right? That's
Yeah.
really where you can make his case. But there's no military battle that got broken down and that the other side would have won if their barrel was just half an inch shorter than the last. Does that make sense?
Yeah. Or like Trijcon versus EOTech.
Yeah, it's like, okay,
No one's going to be making that argument.
right.
But I
Go ahead.
I was going to say I think this ties into the other part that I'm trying to get at, and that's the fitness aspect of it. Like, yes,
Absolutely, yeah.
you can shoot, but can you carry 6 extra mags? Like, can you move a mile while you're carrying this gun?
And therein lies. I talked about another Instagrammer with this, and this is a good one. Therein lies the issue because he didn't get mad, but he was saying, "Oh well, people will say that." And I get his point. And he goes, "Well, when you're talking about hand guards, you talk about the technical detail of tactical gear." And he goes, "Well, it's a tactical industry, so that's what you're going to do." And I go, "That makes sense." He goes, "The fitness aspect, that's a whole other room. Go to the fitness room if you want to talk about fitness." And I said,
Okay.
"Well, I understand that. If I came in here with my shirt off and said, let's talk about bicep curls, right? But to the point about the middle ground, I go, well, when I do the Minuteman fitness test, if I guys talk about that, which is the 2 miles, 50 push-ups, 50 sit-ups, 300-meter run, and 10 pull-ups, right? It's a baseline of fitness that's applicable to the tactical industry, right? I don't walk into a conversation and say, what's your mile time? Can you run 2 miles in 14 minutes? And then talk about bicep curls and protein intake. I go, here's the Minuteman fitness test. Here's a basic standard of well-rounded fitness. If you can do 2 miles in 16 minutes, 10 straight dead hang pull-ups, 50 push-ups, good all the way down, all the way up in 2 minutes, 50 sit-ups, and a 300-meter sprint under 69 seconds. You can do all that, you're good. You're not going to really run into anything in life that you can't physically overcome, right? Yeah. So it's hard because, like we talked about earlier, as you said earlier, either get harder into your beliefs or stop caring. And translate that into Instagram, where it's hard to find the middle ground. Because if I just do a fitness test, one of the problems with it is it's very boring, right?
Sure.
The entire point of a fitness Instagram is to be hot and buff and your shirt off and you're like, I'm a gorilla or whatever the hell. You name yourself an animal, like I name myself a goat, right? But you name yourself some stupid animal, and then you talk about weightlifting, and all your photos are you, I don't know, with trap music playing, lifting, right? Or you go the other way. You could go like I keep mentioning him, but you go the Lucas way, and you go, it's all about shooting, right? It's all is shooting. And you go, well, what about water purification? And it's not the fact that Lucas couldn't talk about water purification efficient. What does it say? Knowledgeably, or that the weightlifting guy can't talk about shooting knowledgeably. But then when you post content like that, you fall out of the algorithm.
Yeah.
right? As the other Instagrammer I talked to said, he goes, yeah, you do kind of fall out of the room because Instagram puts you in these little buckets. So even today I made a post. I even did a repost. I usually don't, but I made a repost is about fitness. And the aspect really is that whatever you want to do tactical, you want to talk about scopes and hand guards for 9 hours straight, go ahead, knock yourself out. The idea behind it is just put that into the context of what you're doing, right?
Yeah.
Have the ACOG, have whatever you want. Be able to carry it, and be able to officially do it. And then that's why I go, well, that's why I'm not selling. I have some t-shirts, but they're just t-shirts. That's why I don't sell gym shorts with my logo on them. I'm not selling you protein powder. I'm just saying basic standard of fitness that gets applied into what we're talking about,
Yeah.
right? Which is ARs. You got to be able
Fair.
to carry them. You got to be able to take it up the mountain. You like the Barrett M107. You want to do a clone build of a Barrett M107. You want to build whatever the hell you want to build. Okay, great. Do it. Knock yourself out. Have fun. I go, well, then just be able to carry it. Be able to use it outside of the flat range. I think
Yeah.
that's applicable, right? I think that's pretty straight.
I think
That's a
so.
pretty straightforward like way to look at things, right? The problem with that is it's boring, it's not incendiary, and it also doesn't lend itself to an algorithmic success because then you're everywhere, right? Because
Yeah.
if I did one video about how cool quad nods are and how badass I am and cool lights and kicking indoors, then the next video was about the Roth IRA and how to save for retirement, you'd be like, what the hell is going on with this account? Right? You go, yeah, but I'm teaching about financial stability. You go,
Yeah.
that which includes gear. You go, yeah, but the last video was all cool guy, oh, wow, as you kick in the door, like, yeah, oh. And now the next video is about Roth IRA. Go back to the
Yeah.
lasers and shit.
Right.
And it's like, yeah, but the nuance of life doesn't transfer into the social media. So
Yeah. That's
you
a
can
great point,
do it.
though.
You can do it, but it's just kind of like, okay, kind of odd.
Right.
It's just I don't know. It just but anyways, the fitness aspect behind it is just that. It's just the ability. Okay, get gear. I make it. Get it. Maybe there's some good. Maybe there's some cool surplus stuff you can get that too. Have fun. Get the plate carrier. Train with it. Training with the plate carrier, right, doesn't mean a 3-hour CQB class. Can you move a good amount of distance in it? Can you actually carry it? Can you use it?
Right.
Right. A lot of people can just do a CQB class for 3 hours and just eat donuts and go. Nothing wrong with donuts, but you can go in there and I love donuts. It's fine, but you could go in there and you can do 3 hours of class and be good to go.
Yeah. And
Right?
you're sucking wind by the end of it, though.
Yeah. But you could still say, oh, I did the class. Look at that. I did class with plates all day. It's like, yeah, that was
Right.
2 hours. Okay. Make
Yeah.
it 48. But
Yeah,
then you
you
sound
can.
like a douchebag, right? Then I sound like some Navy SEAL douchebag who's going to sell you a perfect push-up plan. And like that's not the
Well,
case either. I'm just saying well-rounded. Be well-rounded, right?
yeah. And I think it goes back to what you said, like, how, at what point do you change? I think all of us are going to get to that point where we change from being the zealot or being more of a zealot to being in the I don't care category. And in your, I guess, to what you're trying to push, I think the benefits of being healthier and having good physical fitness means you have a longer life. Like you could do the things that you like for longer periods of
Absolutely.
time.
Right.
And I'm wondering, how does that mentality, how does that going to affect future plans at Rebels Raiders? You're a gear company. I would say you're a
Yeah.
gear designer. How is fitness going to be incorporated into that at all? And if so, if you could talk about it, how would that look to you?
Well, the real hook, and I'll let everyone in, the real reason why the fitness is being pushed besides health is I wanted to have a reason to contact women way out of my league and involve them in my business. That was a joke. I was joking. That's the point. No. Really. So moving forward, I think fitness. I I have to figure that out.
Okay.
You have to figure out a way because it's not hard to make PVS 31s and PEC 15 sexy. I have to find out a way to make broccoli sexy. Right. I have to find a way to make broccoli taste like Skittles, or at least make you think it does. Right.
Okay.
And again, a lot with the Minuteman fitness test, people go, how do I get there? I go, just kind of do it. And they go like, and I remember the one pot we recorded, like, oh, that's like some Jocko Willick stuff. I was like, yeah, no, just
Yeah.
run. Right. Like, I'm not going to run around and be like, do it. Like, I'm just like, yeah, just run and just keep like, after this, I'm going to eat and I'm going to go to the gym. And what am I going to do? I'm going to run, push, pull, and keep doing it. Um, moving forward, I have to figure out a way. I have to figure out that hook to make fitness a little bit more applicable while also pushing the gear that I have. And as you said, it is kind of a conundrum because what I constantly push is it is hard to push. Like I said, it's hard to go quad nod one video, then the next video talk about financial responsibility because then the second video kind of tells you don't do the first one, right? It's like, yeah, well then don't go back and do like if you're talking about
Right.
Roth IRA,
Right.
don't do quad nods, right? But my opinion is with the prices that I have moving forward is I can do both, right? I can talk about the positive aspects of fitness, the positive aspects of financial stability, and the positive aspects of like being involved. But on top of which, going, yeah, if you want to get a bag, or not, or I have to just go full. I don't know. I even sound dumb saying it like that. I don't know. This is the problem. This is the problem that I have with social media, right? If I was any other company, I'd have a succinct answer. I look at the camera like a psycho, and I would give you a straight answer. You're like, yeah, I'm going to go buy 50, whatever he's selling. But by the end of this one, you're like, what is he talking about? What is he going on? Like, is he trying to sell himself out of the gear? Again, that's the problem with the nuance and perspective, right? You're like, oh, well,
Sure.
maybe, yeah. Oh, no, well, right. The answer is I want, as far as moving forward with gear, I just want to make good gear at a good price. And I want to really, my main thing is I really want a house in the Hollywood Hills. That's kind of the point of all this. That is the end result of that.
Okay.
But yeah, I guess the answer is tying fitness in. It'll always be something I talk about.
Sure.
Tying, because if you do guns and fitness, you look stupid, right? Because if I did a video of like me doing a house clearing, then I go out and do kettlebell swings, you just look like an idiot. You just do. It just looks
I think
dumb.
so. I mean, I think it goes
Doesn't
along with
doesn't it?
what you were saying before. Like your friends, I see what your friend's saying. Like, yeah, they're different rooms of the house,
Yeah,
but I think people actually care and pushing this idea of getting better physical, getting your physical fitness into a better spot ties perfectly into being
I
able
think it
to
does.
clear
The issue
homes.
is like I'm not. I think it does. I'm more like I can't put it into words. It's hard for me to describe this. When I said like you look like you do a room clear, but
Yeah,
if I did a room clear, then did kettlebell swings, I'm a totally different page now.
sure.
I'm like a CrossFit guy all of a sudden. Does that make sense? Like now I have to have a mustache that curls right here and I have to wear 5'11 and I have to run around with shorts that are too short and talk about Black Rifle Coffee now. Like
Yeah,
you get thrown into it. And the thing is, you do that because the internet makes you do that.
sure.
Because then you're like, this is a weird box that you're in. It's a
Yeah,
weird box, and that's why like I don't talk politics. I don't do that stuff because it becomes kind of an echo chamber no matter what you're doing. So I
sure.
don't know, and I don't know why. I mean, I know why because it's engagement, but I go, yeah, because I'm like, people would say, well, I want a combat fitness test. I want PT and kit. I go, run 2 miles, do that. Like,
Yeah,
stop putting the plate carrier on every time because I know what you want to do. But it's not that you don't want to work out in a plate carrier. You want to work out in a plate carrier. What do you mean? I go, you don't want to work on a plate carrier because it's adding resistance. What you want to do is run around the plate carrier on. That's what you want to do. There's a difference, right? You want to be seen with the plate carrier, right? I
yeah,
know. I
right.
know. I come. All my friends are more attractive than me. I know what they want to do. They want to be seen. That's why they go out to bars all the time. That's why they go out. That's why they do things because they want to go hiking. And I go, I would much rather do anything but go hiking. But they want to go out like I'm hot. Look at me. So I go, I have a plate carrier on, run like everybody. And I get it. That's why I go, I don't know. But the point
Yeah,
is, I don't know where that ramble came from. But I go, yeah, I think I don't know, man. I don't. That's right. That's where I go. I wish I could look at. I wish I could look at it and go. The sky is purple. It's not blue. Buy my stuff. I just go like I can't do that. I have too much introspection to be
well,
like.
that's fair. Yeah, I think that's
I
fair.
just go. Listen, like I have the Kanai Pro gear stuff right now that I'm reselling. Right, I have my own
Yeah,
company, so I'm reselling Kanai gear. I go, it's a good price. It's good gear. Go get it. I do have to go a little. I have to go a little bit more Bakken and just be like, this is the best bag ever, and then the next version is the best bag ever. I have to do a little bit better job of that, but yeah, I guess hopefully that doesn't answer your question at all anyway, and I hope the audience is completely confused because I am too. So
well,
we go to the next one.
yeah, you highlighted it. So we're gonna have to we're coming up on our hour mark.
We can go a little bit longer. It's okay. I want to answer a few more questions. A little bit longer, like buck
Okay.
15 or so. That's fine.
All
Because
right.
this is good. I like this episode. We're keeping it straight. We're keeping it there. So yeah, let's answer a few more. What else we got here? What else we got going on?
I don't know. I'm going over like questions that I had for you. And I think we've covered all of it.
Yeah, if anyone wants to know the story, because I also, again, like I said, this is the third time we've recorded it, and I shouldn't mention that many times, but I'm very appreciative of Jason doing this for me. Is the exact story of Rebels Raiders is exactly that. It is confusing. I do think, as much as I want to be, I think at this point, as much as I want to be a part of the Salamanders Legion, I think I'm just part of the Alpha Legion because it's just everything. It's just confusing. Like no one knows what's going on. Like even the rebrand, everyone's like, "Wait, is this a rebrand?" I go, "No," because I can't. It's not a rebrand because I don't
Yeah.
own Kanai. But it's like, yeah, but you're Tom Cruise. You're calling it Mission Improbable. That's what you're doing, right? And I go, yeah, but yeah, okay. But no, the story is true. I YOLO'd my life savings into buying the assets of Kanai Pro Gear, and then I started my own company.
Well, yeah, and that included how many pallets of gear that they
30
had?
pallets of gear
Okay.
that they miscounted, which I have to email people today because people made orders that I can't fulfill. It's like 20 orders, not that much. Out of like one of
Okay.
the few thousand that have already gone through. But I go, yeah, I got inventory that was miscounted, and I'm not gonna get that money back. Just
Right.
like, oh well, okay. But yeah, it was like 30 pounds of leftover Kanai gear that I YOLO'd my life savings into, and then resold it the best way I know how with memes, email, and a Shopify store. So I just
And you
did it
made your money
myself.
back.
Yeah, I made my money back. I don't even know. Like, I know the gross numbers are there, but
Yeah.
I'm in the six figures. But I go like, I don't even know. But I'm like, yeah, okay. At this point, I've made money, right? It's all everyone else's money because everyone who bought it. So
Yeah.
but I go, yeah, it's great gear that we've got. We have a sling bag. I have a roll top bag. I have a daily use backpack. Okay, people are like, you can get all three bags for $150, right? Like, you can get one bag for $30 to sell a read. You're not allowed to go outside in this country for less than $50, right? Like
Yeah.
I'm thinking, like, right, going outside in America, going to McDonald's is what $130 now, right?
Yeah.
Getting gas, McDonald's, and like whatever stupid thing you're gonna buy from Target is like what $160,
Oh yeah, it's got to be.
right? Yeah, you can get a Legion, an Optio, and a Celeritas for like $155. A sling bag, a daily use backpack, and a hiking roll top / like hydration carrier for $150. I mean, come on,
That's
like
awesome.
literally, you cannot make a trip to Target and McDonald's for less than that. I mean, for more,
Yeah.
I don't know which way to go with that one. I don't know. Whatever version my card is cheaper than that, that's the one I want to use. I mean, come on. I mean, there's the Eagle Industries like on T-Rex Arms website for like $220. You could get
Right.
literally 3 Legions for that. Like that price, you get 3 Legion backpacks. You can sew the Legions together and make a big backpack, and that's like how much you can get for it, right? And those are good bags. They're not like cheap shit. It's good bags.
Yeah.
So that's where I'm at right now. And then a few gun tubers hit me up, which is interesting, and they made some offers. So I'm looking at using them as like an advertising channel to get that stuff out
Okay.
there. And yeah, that's like I said, I have some goals for stuff, but for right now, is I got good Kanai gear at like prices you won't believe. And how I do that is because it's just me. I have a 3PL, but I've already worked the prices out, so it's just me. I have zero overhead, like none.
Which is awesome. I mean, the prices are great.
Yeah, the entire company cost me $700 to start. I'd use Zen Business, right? By the way, I just found out that I had like $40K in a PayPal account. I don't even know how to get it. I don't even know. I'm like, oh, I guess I got to figure that out. Because I activated PayPal Business on the Shopify store. I don't even know where to get it. I don't even know how to transfer it out. I'm like, oh, I got to figure that out. I don't even have an accountant. I don't even have one. I was like, oh,
you got to make one, then transfer it to your. So you got to make a PayPal account and then transfer it to your bank.
I have the PayPal account, but it's like, oh yeah, all your funds are locked. I do all these verifications. I was like, okay, and I tried to connect my bank and it wouldn't let me. And then my checking account just like went away because I didn't have any money in it. I didn't put any money in there because I was using because Shopify now, when the money where it gets deposited, you have a little debit card that they give you. I was like, okay, I'll just use that. Like, oh, actually, no, you have to have a bank account to pay. I'm like, okay. And I'm like, I don't even have an accountant. I'm like, all right, yeah, all right, cool. Like, it's great, right? I don't think I even did my initial LLC filing yet. I have to figure that out too. I have like 90 days, but I'm like, okay, I got to do that too. So my premise behind all that is I just go, yeah, I just did it. Like I just went for it. Like, okay, great. Where the hell else am I going to go?
Yeah, and that kinda goes back to what we were talking about with fitness wise when people ask you, "Okay, well, I can't even do the Minuteman Fitness. How do I get to that point?" And you say, "Well, just do it. Just start."
I
Like,
just run.
you can't run 2 miles, well, start walking, I guess. Like, don't s
Yeah,
you can't say that you can't do it. You maybe can't do it right now, but you will eventually, but you need to start somewhere.
I'm at eight. I kind of pass off like I'm a dummy. That's not true, but I'm currently at 18 to 20 pull-ups now. Actually, I did 20 yesterday or Saturday. Sorry, Saturday, and that's the first time in my life I could do 18 to 20 comfortably like that, where I can consider like, okay, 1 week you do 18, maybe 19, 1 week you do 20, right?
Right.
Dude, a year ago I probably could do 4. I don't know how I got to 20. I don't. I
You
truly
just
don't.
did it.
Lat pull downs, I just did
Yeah.
more of them. Like that's kind of it. Like I don't know how I got I truly don't know how I got to 20. All I know was I did eventually get to 5 to 6 to 7 to 8 to 9 to 10. I just did them. Just kept doing them over and over and over again. Now maybe there's a little bit more inherent strength or natural ability, sure, but I go, I just did them. I wasn't born great by any means. I just kept doing things. And then you just kind of go, okay, there it is. There, you just do it and do it over and over and over again, and then you get there, right? I guess
Yeah.
shooting's the same way, right? Some people are
Yeah,
probably
you just gotta
naturally
get better
better.
with it.
Well, the answer is like, how do you get better at pistol? It's like, yeah, here I got an idea for you. It's called a million rounds. Go fire
Yeah.
them.
Yeah, we talked about that in our first podcast with
Yeah.
Walsh, where he didn't have any pistol training. It was like, you know what, you got to practice drawing from the holster. So he set up a tripod in his backyard and he drew from the holster 5,000 times
Yeah.
over a week, and then it was like drawing from the holster and like doing a reload, tactical reload. Did that 5,000 times, and
Mhm.
eventually right from home, like he became a really good being able to handle a pistol, and then went out to the range and like, okay, I practice at home. Can I now apply what I know out on the range? And he was able
Right.
to.
I mean, you give a guy like Jerry Micklick, right? I mean, there's probably natural ability, natural talent towards that
Sure.
shooting, right? But like, isn't like Jerry Micklick not allowed to like touch pencils because if he does, he'll die of lead poisoning because his blood lead levels are so freaking high. Like, if he goes near a Staples store, I think he starts coughing and starts wheezing heavily because his blood lead levels are so freaking high. Because he shoots like what 20 trillion rounds a week or something crazy,
Yeah.
right? Or like Grand Thumb. I don't know how much that's the marketing aspect, but every time Grand Thumb goes, "Hey, I just got this rifle. I only tested it for 3 days, so I fired 300,000 rounds." Like, what in the hell? What?
Yeah.
Like, that's like famous. He's like famous for that, right? Like, I had it for a week. I've only had 7 to 9 million rounds through it, and I'm like,
I
oh,
remember watching a video of
whoa,
Jerry Mitchell, like because he reloads some of his own ammo,
right?
and he had like a giant cast iron like Dutch oven that was over a propane uh, boiler melting lead, and then he had a fan. He was outside, but he had a big one of those big circle fans, like sucking the fumes and kind of blowing it out. But he was just right there, like making slugs for a shotgun.
So I guess you can go near lead. I always
Apparently,
thought if you went to like the office supply section of like a Walmart, he would just literally have a heart attack and die. Because I thought that the lead levels in his blood would just cause him to
so high.
blow and he'd just fall over. Right? That's a joke. I'm not making fun of Jerry Micklick. I'm saying the guy shoots so goddamn much. Isn't
Yeah,
his blood like 10% lead at this point?
it's got to be.
Yeah, it's like crazy. But the point behind that was, I mean, no one's making fun of Jerry, right? The point is like, yeah, that's what you don't see, right? You don't see like he
Right.
fires like trillions of rounds, right?
Yeah,
Like I think he's probably fired more rounds like the armed services combined of how many rounds he's fired. But that's how you get
probably.
good. Is doing
I
now,
had a friend that played bass guitar for the Osmonds, and I remember telling him like, "How'd you get to be so good?" And he said, "Oh, anybody could do it. You just have to practice 10,000 hours."
right?
It's like, oh, yeah, it's not easy. It's super time consuming, but anyone can do it
You
if you put your
can
mind towards
skip all
it.
that, and I'll tell everyone right now how to skip all that. If you're really good looking, you can just go right
Jump the
past that.
line. You just jump
You
the
can just
line.
like jump the line. Like I was watching the well, one of my not my favorite but a very good movie, Jurassic World, right?
Mhm.
And I'm like, yeah, Bryce Dallas Howard is the villain in this movie. Like everyone dies because she doesn't want to close a park. Like that's the
Yeah,
whole plot of the movie. But I go, yeah, but she's attractive, so it's okay. Like, because if it was me, you'd be like, fuck that guy. Like, like he's a bad guy, right? Like he's clearly evil. But it's like, yeah, but she's hot, so you know what? It's like fine. She can let everyone die. It's like yeah, but she's clearly evil. It's like she needs to go to jail. Like
Yeah.
Nah. And it's like, yeah, no, but she's attractive. She's good. She get away with it. So that's what I recommend. 10,000 hours be really good. Again, the one I was bringing up, right, is Giselle and Tom Brady. Tom Brady,
Oh
he's
yeah.
still good looking, right? But you go, the best quarterback of all time, like easily, right? No one even comes close. Like no one even comes. He's not like a super specific good. He's like, oh, he has like every record ever, right?
Yeah.
And you go, yeah, his wife, well, at the time, right? His ex-wife is richer than him. What does she do? He's like, she's hot. Like, oh,
She's a model.
yeah, she's hot. Like, it's like, yeah, but
She
he's
knows
the
herself well.
greatest quarterback of all time. He has 7 Super Bowl. Like, if he has to put on a freaking pair of sunglasses to put on the amount of Super Bowl rings he has, right?
Yeah.
And also he could have done 3 more, right? And I think only like 2 of them, like one of them is just kind of his fault. The rest of 2 are not even his fault. He doesn't have them. And not even a football guy. But the point is like, yeah, no, but she has more money because she's hot. Like,
Yeah.
oh, that's depressing. So that's my idea. Be an expert, be really good looking. But seems to work, right? It seems to work for a lot of people on Instagram, right? Just
Yeah.
be hot. There you go. Have you tried it? What else do we got here? So yeah, any other questions we got going on? I thought that was pretty good, right? Went through
Yeah,
the
I
whole
think
thing.
so, man. So where could people find you? I have rebelsraiders.com, rebels-raiders.com
Yes.
on the
So
on the
you can
ticker
type in
below.
Rebel. Sorry, go ahead. I didn't interrupt you. My apologies.
I was gonna say on the ticker scrolling below, it's just
Yep.
rebels-raiders.com. But where
Yep,
else can people find you?
rebels-raiders.com. You can find me on Rebels Raiders on Instagram at Rebels Raiders, or if you want the more gear-oriented page, right now it's in a little bit of a transition to become more gear-oriented at Rebels Raiders Gear, which I will post 3 gear photos, which will get 300 likes, and then I'll make that a meme page too, because I will give up on that because I know that's what everyone wants. Because I know I want like tens of thousands of likes, and I'll freak out. Even if I'm making money, like if I make money on a post, I'm actually mad that if a post does $10,000, but I only get 300 likes, I am mad that I got 300 likes. Like I don't, and if I got 0 money but 10,000 likes, I'm far happier, like way more happier, right? So yeah, there's Rebels Raiders, which is my personal like the SMG account.
Yeah.
The reason why it's not Rebels Raiders SMG is because I can't afford to lose the handle. So Rebels Raiders that's the account. Then there's the Rebels Raiders Gear, which is the gear account, which is the more official company one. Then a Rebels Raiders Gear on Facebook and Rebels Raiders on Twitter. And then coming up is the Rebels Raiders YouTube channel as well.
Awesome.
So type in Rebels Raiders, go to the website, rebels-raiders.com, and we have all the Kanai Pro, we have not all, but all the leftover Kanai Pro Gear stuff. I got Legions, I got Optios, I have Celeriuses, I have a ready action holster and a few 6x6 pouches. And make sure my 3PL doesn't screw up the order, which there's a 5% chance they do, but I'll fix it in the back end. And then after that, the next goal is making everyone affordable gear, literally affordable gear for all. So
Awesome, man.
making high quality stuff at a price everybody can afford.
Yeah.
That's the next
Looking
goal.
forward to it.
I appreciate it.
Well, Rebel, I appreciate you taking some time again with us.
Thank
And
you
on
very
that note,
much. Appreciate it, Mr.
we'll sign
Jason.
off.
Thank you, sir.
All right.